per usual, just getting everything set up here. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this beautiful Thursday on my Ambitious Outcomes Live, where I help you carve a path to better visibility, trust, and faster growth. I also cannot believe that it is almost November. Seems pretty insane to me that it is flying by and it is almost Thanksgiving and then Christmas. It's pretty wild. So let me know when you guys are live with me. I see here that I am officially on LinkedIn Live. Let me know when you guys are with me in the comments so I know you're here. As always, keep in mind that when you comment and engage with me on these lives, you'll be entered to win a $500 mini LinkedIn makeover, which I will be drawing that soon, probably next week, for the month of October. Hey, Eric, you are first. And yes, you are cool, of course. So great talking to you earlier this week, Eric. Hey, Dale. Manda. Hey, that's my new name. Manda. I love it. Thank you. I know, right? We should, Eric. Definitely. Thanks so much for being here. How's your guys' week so far? Has it been good? It has been super busy at Mod Girl, and I've got to speak to several of you, including Eric, which has been super fun for my mini LinkedIn planning sessions I've been doing. So it has been a crazy week, and this is my third live stream for the day. I've literally gone back to back to back all day long, and this will be my last one, and then I have phone calls. So it has been a crazy day and crazy week here at Mod Girl Land, but I hope you guys are doing well. So I have a couple of things that I wanted to mention today regarding just kind of focus and clarity and really kind of honing in on what it is that your goals are and how to get better at accomplishing those with LinkedIn, and a couple of tips there, and really just talking about brand in general and how to stand out and really maximize the time that you are spending on your current marketing. As always, if you guys have any questions or anything you want me to cover, let me know. So I was on a live earlier this morning with Digital Marketer. So the fabulous team of Digital Marketer. I was live for their one of their agency partner days, which was fun. And we discussed several topics on LinkedIn that I wanted to briefly mention today, plus a couple of things that we've been seeing. So to start with, I really want, I've been looking at more and more profiles and working with new clients and new connections. And one thing that consistently comes up is the lack of clarity on someone's LinkedIn profile and really their engagement across the board. So who is it that you're targeting? And what is it that you're doing for them? So a lot of times you land on someone's profile. Let's take a digital agency, for example, like Mod Girl. And it says that they are, CEO of their company and that they help businesses get more clients, or they help, businesses make more revenue. And then you go and you read their profile, and it's not really super crystal clear exactly what they specialize in and exactly who they help. And so the number one way to get results with your marketing, this goes for any channel, not just LinkedIn, is to be specific about the types of services / solutions / products you provide and who those solutions are best suited for. So a lot of people just say they help small businesses, and then they list off like 20 different services that they can do for small businesses. And that does not make you stand out. So because there's a million other people doing that, right? And there's a million other people that don't have the crystal clear brand messaging down. And those are the people that are going out and spamming the hell out of LinkedIn and sending loads of salesy messages. So if you guys want to stand out and get people to actually respond to you, it has to be really crystal clear the moment that you land on your profile, what it is you do and who you help. And it has to be specific. You can list out, I do this, this, and this, but you have to make it clear that what you specialize in. because that's going to make you stand out, not just potential clients, but potential partners. So we talked today too about how I leverage LinkedIn to form partnerships with other agencies that would have the clients that I'm going after, and they would provide something totally different, like web design, for example, and I was doing SEO. But they wouldn't have entertained the idea of talking to me if my profile wasn't super crystal clear that I specialize on SEO for this particular vertical. So there's so much potential and opportunity and like low-hanging fruit on LinkedIn, but only if you guys are super specific in what it is that you are great at doing. And it doesn't even have to be like industry-wise. It could be like the local area or a particular size of business or particular like number of employees. I mean, there's so many different ways to niche down, as we call it in marketing. And the number one challenge I see with people using LinkedIn is they're not really laser targeted on what they're doing. And so they're spending time and it's not really working. Michael says, hey, Michael, good afternoon from Chicagoland. Eric says you bring up a good point. My profile had been addressing my audience right off the bat, but the thing I wasn't really doing is differentiating myself. That's what I'm working on now. It's harder than one might think. Yeah, no, it is. It's not easy. Like I'm sitting here telling you guys this, and that's why people hire Mod Girl, because we help with this, and we can't help you guys with this. But it really is, it shouldn't just be a place to talk about you and all the great things that you do and all the things that you can do for clients. You need to pick what is the main thing that I do for customers, or that my company does for customers, or that I do as an employee, as an executive for companies, right? I mean, there's different ways to think about this here too, but it's still getting more specific on what makes you stand out. And that should be able to attract the right people, but also repel the wrong people. Because the last thing you want to is to get a bunch of people who aren't really your exact fit. So when you do this, it's not pigeonholing you either. So I hear a lot of people are like, I don't want to pigeonhole myself. Well, if you don't narrow down into something, some sort of specificity, then you're not going to attract anyone. So it's a good thing to repel people. Like everyone is not your fit. So even with executives, so I read something the other day and it was like, I want a job at Google. It was an executive recruiter, I think, and she was posting about how people are always like, I want a job at Google, I want a job at Facebook, and they're asking for referrals. Well, Google and Facebook and Microsoft have literally like over 100,000 employees. There's loads of employees there, and they all have different departments. So just saying that you want to work for a particular company isn't good enough. You have to establish yourself as the subject matter expert and thought leader, as Eric's lovely article said. Thank you, Eric, for that article. You have to establish yourself as that if you want to get anywhere and you want to get any traction with getting introductions and getting potential clients. I mean, the same goes for if you're trying to get a job or new opportunities, or if you're trying to get clients. It's the same thing. So people that are trying to get jobs at, say, Google or Facebook, they need to reach out to people and build relationships with people that work for specific departments of Facebook and Google, not just going to any random person that works at Google and saying, hey, can you hook me up? Can you introduce me to the hiring manager or whatever it is? But getting really laser targeted on your unique skill set and where you fit in that bucket. Again, this goes for people looking for jobs or trying to get new board of advisor opportunities or people trying to get clients. It's all the same thing. You need to really hone in on what it is that you do well, and then you connect with people accordingly that could use that potential service, but that's how you're going to stand out. And so I wanted to mention that because, I'm talking to a lot of people and coming across a lot of profiles recently, and it's just not super crystal clear what they do. And that makes it harder for you to get results that you're going after. So before we move on, I just wanted to make that point of that. And then I also talked earlier today with the digital marketing crew about content. So first things first, people dwell too much on vanity metrics. If they don't get enough views or likes or something on a particular post or particular suite of posts in 1 week, they're worried. They're worried that something's wrong, or all of a sudden their posts aren't, resonating with people, and they kind of freak out a little bit. And then they start, racing their mind and trying to think of what it is that could be happening, why people don't like my content. And I want to tell you not to worry about things like that, because here's what's happening. The algorithms on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and all this, they're changing all the time, right? So LinkedIn just got a new interface. Have you guys seen the new LinkedIn interface, by the way? Do you like it? Let me know. So LinkedIn recently, they're always updating things. So you need to not worry about little things like that may come up where, oh my gosh, 1 week my content did really poorly. You need to give it more time than just that, instead of just instantly jumping to a conclusion that it's your content and something happened or something's weird. So just wanted to bring that up because it's happened a couple of times this week that I've been talking to people, and they're asking me questions about like what could happen, why is my content down? And so it's just a reminder that not every content's going to be a home run, not every piece of content, and you need to just give it time and just not freak out about little things like that and just move on, because there are some things that are out of our control, right? That we can't literally control with what's happening on these platforms. And so we just have to keep doing and working with what we can control and go back and look at these things, but don't freak out over it and give it time before you jump to any crazy conclusions. Carolyn, you're on here. I didn't even see your comment, but I saw that Eric said, excellent point, Carolyn, and now I can't even see your comment. Weird. Steve says, be specific on your value proposition. Define not only what you do, but what you will do for me. That's the whole point, and that's what I talked about earlier, Steve. I'm glad you brought that up, but that's the whole point, is like people don't want to, I land on profiles and they're all about a resume. So I don't want people to just think that it's all about you and, all the great things about you and less about them. So it needs to be about them and what you can do for them. Okay. I had to refresh, you guys, because I totally am missing these comments. See what I mean by out of our control? LinkedIn. Okay. No worries, Dale. Excellent week. 2 new potential clients, Eric? Heck yeah. That's excellent. See, I totally didn't see all of these. Okay. Joe says, what do you think about the concept of capturing mind share? Yes, I love that, Joe. I can come back to that here in a second. Carolyn says, hey, Mandy, thanks for good info. I get frustrated when I go to someone's profile and still don't know what they do because they list a bunch of things that are really general. Yes. I need to look at my profile again to make sure it's clear. Yes, 100%. A lot of people are, doing that exact same thing. It's too general. Or people use big fancy descriptions that half the world doesn't understand. Exactly. And this goes for your guys' like everything across your personal branding, your branding. Like if you have a website, right? Other social media channels. It's not just for LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is obviously great. And that's what we're talking about here. And, but everything you do, even on your LinkedIn profile, can be translated into other channels that you're using. So you need to make sure that you are super crystal clear across all digital channels. This is a comment reading test for Mandy, who is buying us all lunch as soon as we're done here. Yes, I saw that, Eric. Oh man, you're funny. Okay, so I guess I have to refresh to see this because, okay, so one thing I wanted to mention too, speaking of not worrying about vanity metrics all the time, for example, weird things happen with LinkedIn. Like my post last Friday said that it only had 90 views for like 5 hours. And usually I get 90 views within like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So there's little things that happen again that might not even have anything to do with you. But when we are using platforms that are not, they're third-party platforms like LinkedIn, like what we're doing right now, there are always just little things and little glitches that might happen. And you really shouldn't dwell on them is my point, and just move on and keep doing what you're doing. And on that note, when we were talking at Digital Marketer today about the types of content that, and how it is difficult for a lot of people to even write content, or people are browsing LinkedIn and they feel like all the content's the same. It's like general, lame, I don't want to be rude, general content with like testimony or quotes. Like motivational quotes or some sort of random quotes and like just general like tips, right? So the question I got was, how do we stand out, and how do we make our content not look like everyone else's? And so my tip was, be your authentic self and post what you have known in your true experiences. So if I saw this the other day, if you can Google it, so if you write a post and it has information that you can Google easily, then it's probably not a good idea to post it. But if you make a post and you can Google like the main tips, but you put your spin on it, your unique fingerprint on it, then that's a great post. Because look, there is only one of you. There is only one person in the world that has your unique experiences. And so what makes people thought leaders is by sharing these tips that sure someone else is sharing, but it's putting your own unique twist on it from your own unique perspective and experiences. And I mentioned this a couple of different times in the past with you guys, is we are all experiencing things every single day, every single hour, every single minute, really. And things are happening around us, and we're reading content, we're reading articles, we have situations happen. And if you're consciously aware of everything that's happening and you can apply that to your content, that is how you build your thought leadership and authority and your influence online, is by applying these experiences that happen to you or maybe your clients or your colleagues or on a daily basis, and then getting that out in a valuable manner for other people to benefit from. And so it's not about, I'm just gonna post as much content as I possibly can that's just random tips and tricks. It's really about putting your unique spin and your unique perspective on your content. And that is what builds thought leadership, and that's what people are looking for. So I wanted to mention that because a lot of people overthink this. And this is just a reminder too, to keep a document going of posts that you can share, right? So posts that you can write about, and keeping track of that in some sort of document or something where you're doing this, you know, all the time, and you don't have to worry about coming up with random content or, you know, hopping on video. And another thing too is video reach. If you're doing video, don't get discouraged by the reach and how many views you have too, because sometimes it's not always as high as, say, posts, right? But video is an excellent way to get your brand name and kind of your personal brand out there so people can connect with you and feel like they know you. And that goes to, you know, everyone needs a brand, right? So even if you are an individual working as an employee for people, or an individual consultant, you need a brand. So whether it's your personal brand or whether it's the company brand, everyone needs a brand, and they need to humanize that brand. And so that's why we love LinkedIn, because it allows you to do that. And even with LinkedIn stories now, you can do that even more. So not only that, but you need to focus on doing what excites your brand and what you do best, which is going back to the beginning of what I was saying, really being specific about what it is you do. But you don't have to write all this content about what it is you do. Your content can be diverse. It can be different types of posts, of video, etc. And it could be talking about a broad range of subjects while still keeping the broad, you know, subject matter expert arena in play. But you can bring in different types of things. Like I just posted on Monday a motivational post about my dog, who I just found out has aggressive cancer, which is kind of sad, right? And it was kind of a personal post. And I got several people saying, you know, thank you for being honest. And I love your authenticity and how you're raw and real. And people appreciate that. And so I try to mix in that real life content into my post. And here's the thing, like LinkedIn and really everything in business right now, you guys, it's not just LinkedIn. But it's interesting because the B2B world used to be pretty stuffy and like professional and bland, right? Especially LinkedIn. You used to go on LinkedIn a few years back and it was just a bunch of kind of normal business topics. It wasn't people sharing their struggles and getting raw and real with people. It wasn't like that. But it is now, and people appreciate that. And I think people are still kind of nervous to open up and talk about things that maybe fall outside of business because they're afraid of what people will think, or they're afraid it's not of appearing weak, or it's not the right channel, or whatever it is. But I'm here to tell you guys that business is shifting and people love that raw human element of what we are all going through. And we all have struggles and pain and challenges. And so when you bring that up and you post about it, you're seen in a different light than people who just post tips about business all day long. because you're building this connection with people. And I'm not saying you have to go out and do what I do and share when your dog has cancer. Like I'm not telling you guys to do. Everyone is different and you have your own unique way of doing things. But what I am telling you to do is step outside of your comfort zone and open your mind up a little bit and think of ways that you can connect better with people when you're building this audience. So how can you apply your unique challenges that you're facing, or struggles or experiences, and get a little bit personal while still keeping it professional, right? But you don't always have to be posting about what you do for a living. People, that's actually kind of boring when you do that over and over again. So how thought leaders are built is they are sharing different things and about their life too. And again, I'm not a personal social media person. I've told you guys this before. I don't even share anything really personal on Facebook or Instagram. Sometimes occasionally I do, but I am not someone who's sharing my lunch and my dinner and what I'm doing and when I go out on weekends and what I'm doing. I don't do that. But I understand how important it is to build this connection with people through the screen or through the computer. And so at times I will share things that are going on in my life, and I'll do it on LinkedIn, and it's totally fine. And it actually helps me and it helps my brand when I do that. So my point of telling you guys this is you don't have to worry about things like this. So many people are overthinking content and they're overthinking things and they don't know what to write and they don't know if what they're going to write will resonate, or they don't know what to say, and they're just completely overthinking it. When at the end of the day, you guys, only 1% of people are posting on LinkedIn. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if people like it or not. Who cares, right? At the end of the day, who really cares if you post something and it didn't perform great? Who cares? Go do another post. Switch it up. As long as you're not talking smack or posting something negative or, something that's completely off subject and isn't a good look for you, don't do that. But anything else is fair game. There's really no rules here on LinkedIn or social media in general. There's really no rules. The rules are get engagement. Post things that are going to boost your thought leadership and get people to engage with you. That's it. It doesn't matter if it's a post about your dog or a post about the latest and greatest LinkedIn tips and trick. People like having different content from different people. It kind of gets boring if you're posting about the same thing over and over and over again. So this is just a friendly reminder for you guys to step outside of your comfort zone and kind of the same type of post that you're seeing a lot of people do over and over again, and try to be different and unique and share things that maybe you wouldn't share normally, okay? And try new things. Okay, so I'm going to read the comments here. It's not going back to LinkedIn being weird. It's not showing me comments, you guys, and I have to seriously refresh every time I want to see these. Okay. Agreed about our habit of North American posting your post. Chris Lane, it was stale. Well, it was stale, Chris. Totally agree, Mandy. People want to do business with real people. Sorry about your dog. It's okay to be vulnerable. Thank you, Steve. Vulnerable, yes. Michael, you go out on the weekends? Only occasionally. Yes, now that Rona is a little better here in California, I actually went to a bar last weekend and no one was wearing masks, and I was actually quite shocked here in California. And it even said masks on there, and we walk in and no masks. I was like, wow, it was the first time I'd been in a public place like that where no one was wearing masks and you didn't have to. And it was pretty cool. Chris, but I love to talk about what I do. Yes, and I agree. You should talk about what you do too. Jonathan says, love this. Chris, don't post political stuff. Oh my gosh, speaking of political stuff, you guys remember that post I made, that poll I made a few weeks ago about if we should be posting political post on LinkedIn? You guys remember that? It blew up. I've never had that many views on a post ever. It was over 18,000 views on that poll. People had a lot to say. That was something we talked about earlier too, is do you post controversial type topics? And my general rule there is yes, if you can stay neutral. Okay. So what I did it very strategically, thankfully, and I asked people if they thought that politics should be talked about on LinkedIn. And so I had a yes, no, and a maybe. And then I gave a little bit of commentary of my own. I didn't take sides or anything. I just said, I feel like a lot of the political posts I see on LinkedIn shouldn't be shared on LinkedIn. And then I asked people what they thought. Blew up. Like it was getting comments like weeks later even, which is pretty insane. But I think it has like 18,000 views. So speaking of political stuff, if you can remain neutral and like just get people riled up and talking about something, I'm all about posting it. I mean, I did it, right? It's a good way to get people talking and engaging, but there's like a fine line there, right? Like you have to be really careful on how you approach it. The way I did it was perfect because it didn't have anyone like mad at anyone, right? So we were all just kind of sharing our opinions. No one was talking anything about Donald Trump or Biden or Democrats or Republicans. Like it was none of that. It was just like political commentary in general. Should we or shouldn't we talk about it on LinkedIn? So if you can do it that way, then I'm all for it. So FYI, Chris, you just got me on a little chat there. Jason said, I wrote an ebook the other day and published it for free on my LinkedIn. My thoughts on common mistakes users make with LinkedIn ads. It's not unique content. It's my spin on it. Awesome, Jason. I'm going to have to look at that. Will you send me the link, Jason, in a message? I'll check it out. Carolyn says, Dale Young, you're right. I wasn't even thinking the literal word, but that is so true. I see profiles that use descriptions that only people in their very narrow industry understand. Exactly. That's a good point. Without realizing other people won't understand it. You're welcome, Hugh. Thanks so much for being here with me. I'm sure someone will have their opinion on it and on my top 7 mistakes. Humor is also a big plus. Yes, agree. When people match, smile, or laugh with you, you're the big winner. I agree 100%. If you can get people to smile and laugh, that's always a good day. Matt says, all about personal touch. Also, I've had lots of compliments on my profile since I had a facelift from you guys. Yes, Matt, I love hearing that. Thank you so much for sharing. That's so great to hear. That's the thing is, you know, you guys have to approach what you're doing, everything you're doing with a unique spin. And the same goes for your profile. It's the same thing as your content. I mean, it can't look like everyone else. And I think that's the big takeaway here is, you know, if you can drum up emotions, like Eric said, like humor, feel good, motivation, inspiration, maybe even struggles, right? So anytime you can pull on those emotional strings is when you get people engaged and wanting to connect with you and take it, you know, possibly a step further, whether that's, you know, to find a job or to get new clients. So, and on that note, you know, of being your authentic self, you know, it's really simple if you guys want to get results on LinkedIn. I mean, it's simple, but it's work, right? So the concept is simple, but it takes work, like everything in life. But what I see people doing is they're not spending time connecting with and engaging with their people. And by their people, I mean who they want to work with or who their potential clients or people in their industry or people they can partner with. And of course, you know, people they can learn from, like what we're doing right here. But instead, they're going out and just commenting on like random people's stuff, or they're not being proactive with going out and finding people to connect with. So my point is they're spending time on LinkedIn, but it's not very efficient. So if you take a step back and look at what a marketing plan is in general. And when I'm talking about marketing, again, you're marketing yourself, even if you're trying to get a job. It doesn't matter. It's the same concept applies if you're a business owner, or if you're an individual trying to get either freelance opportunities or trying to get a new job, whatever it is, you're marketing yourself or your business. And it really is pretty simple when you're doing this, but you have to have clarity on what you're doing. And that's the problem I see with people is because there's so much noise, right? Like we're all drinking from a fire hose every damn day with all of the information that we're getting thrown at us on what we should be doing and tips and tricks and do this and do this and do that. When if we just take a step back and like go back to the fundamentals of marketing, all you need is a goal in mind. Okay. So first and foremost, what is it that you're trying to achieve? And then go backwards and think about, okay, so if I'm trying to achieve this, you know, I want 10 new clients or I want 10 new job opportunities. What do I have to do to get to that point? Well, I need to be connecting with the right people. Like I need to get myself, my business in front of these people. So how do I do that? How do I get myself, my business in front of the right people? Then you put together a plan of action for making that happen, and you only stick to that plan of action. And everything else you don't worry about unless it's helping you, right? Unless you're spending time with me, thank you, learning, that's different. But, so obviously always take time to learn. I do, and obviously you guys do too. But when it comes to actually doing tasks that are going to move the needle, so like marketing specific tasks outside of education, you have to be focused on who it is that you're going after and put yourself in their shoes for your messaging, for your content, for your profile. And then you need to actually go out there and connect with them and not just wait around. I mean, there's so many people I talk to that they're not being proactive about it, and they're just waiting around for people to come to them. And that's not the right way to go about doing that. So, oops, I had a phone call. To go out there and make things happen and start reaching out to people. Start reaching out to people in your target audience or potential partners that could be referral partners that can refer you to people. I mean, you guys have to be proactive here and leverage this channel how it's supposed to be leveraged, and not just kind of wait around, do a little bit here, comment on some random person stuff here. You need a plan of action. And that plan of action needs to be very specific. Every single day I'm going to send X number of connections. Then on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to leave 10 comments on people's posts. And I'm going to do that from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., right? So coming up with a specific plan and being really clear on who it is you're going after, or who it is that you're trying to connect with, and then going out there and doing it instead of just not having a plan of action. If you look at that plan every day, that's even better. You have it mapped out, and then you have it on your calendar, and you're doing these specific things, and then you can read your goals and look at that end goal every single day. So it's ingrained in your brain, and you're putting it out there to the universe. This is what I want to happen. And then you go and follow the plans to make it happen. So this is how you get results with LinkedIn. And I know we're a little bit over the 30-minute mark now. So I'm going to read the rest of the comments after I had to refresh for the 12th time. Okay. Jason says, absolutely. Thanks, Jason. Eric, they're engaging, but it's not very efficient. Could that be a topic here sometime? How to see what's engaging and what's not on your LinkedIn profile? Yeah, that is a good topic, Eric. I like it. So I will jot down some of your comments. I know we're out of time here. So I know, Joe, you mentioned something too about Mindshare. So we'll talk about that. And then Eric, what you mentioned next Thursday. But if there's anything that I can do to help you guys in the meantime, let me know. Once again, there is my the URL to download my profile checklist. If you guys still feel like your profile isn't up to par and it needs to be a little bit more crystal clear on what it is you do and who you help and how to weave that into a story on your about section, you should really weave that into a story. So weave in storytelling on what you do, who you help, what results look like working with you. That is going to be very, very effective in your profile. So download the checklist if you haven't already. Get to work on that. And then let me know what else you guys would want me to touch on and then in the coming weeks on these Thursday lives. So thank you for your comments. You guys will be entered to win a mini LinkedIn makeover. And if there's anything else I can do to help you guys or anything in specifically you want me to talk about next week, let me know. And I will see you next week. Okay, you guys, thanks so much for being here with me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday and your week, and we will see you next week. All right. See you guys.